Today we are not gonna build one but two Lego habitats for the Lego Kimono Girl minifigure. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the no uploads last week, but I was a little bit sick. Here we have the latest minifigure habitat that I built 2 weeks ago. This is the Viking minifigure from the CMF Series 4. And from the same series I have this beautiful Kimono Girl minifigure. So considering that Lego is releasing a lot of Japanese thematic sets, including the Tranquil Garden, the Magic Castle and the Great Wave, I thought today is the perfect moment to build something along those lines. So let's move the Viking out of the way and let's start with the first scene that is going to be an outdoor scene. Here is our usual 8x8 base. I built a little pond with some transparent tile. Here we have this beautifully printed koi tile, and I already built a little bit of terrain around it. We are gonna add a little step here that I offset a little bit with the studs with the hole in the middle. So it's actually coming a little bit off the base. And over here, a little base with the masonry brick. And we are gonna build the facade of this building. And this is gonna be the entry door. I use a couple of jumpers over here to bring the alignment back at the front. And this is the simple structure that I create. So we have some modified bricks with some dark tan tiles at the front, and as you can see, that little jumpers that I had there help me to align this with the rest of the scene. For the roof, I just make it as big as one row of studs, and I offset everything by one. So some cheese plates are connected to the back, some have an extra plate, so that I can give a little bit of an interesting detail, and we can go also around the corner here. On this side, I wanted to add a lantern. Lego has this big lantern, but this is a little bit too big for a minifigure habitat, and I cannot find a connection, otherwise I will have to take him a lot off of the scene. So I decided to build a smaller one, just using one of these cylinder 1x1 pieces. So here we have a little lantern on the right side, and over here is going to be very straightforward, a little bit of base, and then a big blue sky that is going all the way to the top, aligning with the rest. So already most of the scenery is created. Now let's add some details. So at the back here, I'm going to create a tall tree to cover a little bit this area, and I decided to use this lavender color that is actually recalling a little bit the one that the minifigure has on top of there. This is not fully connected, it cannot go all the way through, but I think it's good enough. And we are gonna connect at the stud there at the back. There we go. So we added already a little bit of color. And then over here I wanted to add a smaller tree kind of bush. So I use some Technic parts at the bottom to give an interesting angle. And then I'm just gonna slide through over these sort of branches, these green brooms that I think come from the Story of Nyan set, if I'm not wrong, a set that I reviewed very long ago. This is gonna go over here, and now you can see already we have a lot of details, a lot of the vegetation, and we can also add a little bit of sort of rocky decoration over there. Now I wanna have a bridge that goes over. I try to keep it as small as I can, and I build something like this that I can just slide in there, and I don't need to connect, and I decided to do it in red to call at the color of the minifigure. And then we can just take our minifigure, connect to the stud over here, and then put it back in place. You can see probably that there is a little bit of light there, so when I took the picture I just took a little bit of extra bricks to cover that gap so there's no light coming through from the back. And I think already is a pretty good result with this little outdoor scene. But now, because this minifigure was so good, I actually got a lot of inspiration, and I decided I wanted to build an indoor scene as well. So we can actually move this a little bit to the side, and let's bring in the new base. Again, 8x8. This is gonna be indoor. I'm trying to find an interesting pattern from the floor. We are using dark tan and dark red. Here at the front, we're gonna add a small low table. This is gonna connect to the jumpers. We already have a sort of tea set there. And we can also add a sort of cushion, a sort of pillow there in front of the table. So we are trying to make the best use we can of the space. Later on we are going to add some more detail. For the wall on this side, I have brown at the bottom and then mostly a white wall, except this dark tan here, so that I create a little bit of extra decoration. The wall is going inside a little bit because I took an extra stud at the back. I have this printed tile here. I don't remember exactly from which set this come from, and this we are gonna connect over here like this. It might be also from the Story of Nyan, but I'm not too sure. And over here you can see I have a space where I wanted to add a katana, I wanted to add a sword over there on this place, so we can just clip one side and then this will slide in into the other one. So already we have a nice decoration here, and then we are gonna build another one on the other side, same color scheme, but as you can see, I wanted to create a rounded window. So the idea is to have something like this, okay? This is not gonna be super solid because it's not connected, so it's just a little bit of pressure. And over there, I wanted to add this big golden dish. What I did, I added another transparent one behind so that I can put this one here and then slide it in, and this should help to keep everything in place. Of course, I can push it out easily, but you can see I can still move this fairly well without dropping anything. Now on the top, I wanted to add some more details because I didn't want to have just a total white wall all the way to the top. So I created this pattern, alternated the reddish brown and the white, and the same thing I did on the other side. This one got only one connection point. I didn't manage to connect it on this side. But I think now we have a pretty interesting decoration already. Before we add the final details, I think we can try to add to this scene our minifigure. And I think something that we can do is change a little bit the pose and maybe try to use this fan in a way that is going to sort of cover her face a little bit. Something like this. I think this is a more interesting look. And then because there is something that is going to block her view at the back, I decided to give her some sort of sandals so we can bring the minifigure a little bit taller like this. So I think this is already a little bit more interesting pose. Now let's add a little bit of details. So over here we are gonna add a sort of plate or a small one, maybe the one we put the soy sauce. And then I don't have the utensil that Lego came out recently with the chopsticks that is all in one piece, so I'm using some of these sticks. These are the Harry Potter ones to create the chopsticks, and I think it's still a pretty nice looking detail. And then I wanted to add a little bit of green again, so I created a very small minifigure scale bonsai. So what I did, I'm using again these horn pieces, this sort of branched piece, and one is actually just loose on the inside part of this round brick. It's just gonna slide in and give an interesting angle. So I have these coming in two different directions. Maybe we can twist it this way. There we go. And then we can just slide in there. And I think now the scene is complete. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite, if you prefer the indoor scene or if you prefer the outdoor scene. And if you like this Japanese thematic habitat, worry not, because actually the very first habitat that I built for my minifigure series, minifigure habitat series, was actually the sushi chef habitat. So here you can find the link. Please go and check it out. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao, ciao.